Obviously, that's a nonsense bullshit protest. It's just another form of right-wing Trump reactionary people. I must say, as someone who has stopped being shocked by anything, the image of gun-toting thugs in bulletproof vests intimidating a United States governor, in this case in Michigan, Governor Whitmer, is shocking to me. In any civilized country, anybody who showed up at a place of government or even a post office bearing weapons in an ordinary day of business, let alone as part of a protest, should be arrested and would be arrested. The U.S. government and state governments and local governments are no place for people with weapons with a grudge or a grievance. The open carry laws, of course, are very stupid and place America in a unique position of being the only country in the world that claims to be developed that has loose within it people who would be better belonging to some group like ISIS or Al-Qaeda in terms of the way they operate, these dumb militias and the rest of it. But that's nothing compared to the encouragement that the President of the United States, Donald Trump, has been giving these groups, calling them good people, and going so far as to tell Governor Whitmer that she ought to sit down, invite armed thugs into the State House, and cut a deal with them. I have a suggestion for Donald Trump. He ought to live by what he preaches and invite armed militia groups to maybe climb the White House fence or come through the gate or storm the White House in the same way they stormed the state capitol and see what happens. I have a sneaking suspicion that the Secret Service would not welcome them and sit down and encourage them to come into the Oval Office with their weapons and make a deal with the President of the United States. What would in fact happen is that sharpshooters on the White House roof, people like my former Marine son, who's still a Marine, because once a Marine, always a Marine, who scored expert marksman on Paris Island back in boot camp before he went to war twice in Afghanistan, would shoot these suckers in the head, between the eyes, and bring them down before they took 2 steps over the White House lawn. So we're living in a country now where the President of the United States, protected by the Secret Service, that will gun down anyone approaching with a weapon toward the White House once they enter the grounds, wrestle them to the ground and arrest them and cuff them outside the White House if they have weapons, or for that matter on the steps of the Supreme Court or any federal building, says that people with swastikas, Confederate flags, AR-15s and AK-47s with high-capacity magazines wearing bulletproof vests are to be encouraged as a form of protest against what? What tyranny? The tyranny of trying to keep people alive in a lockdown. Obviously, that's a nonsense bullshit protest. It's just another form of right-wing Trump reactionary people bred and fed on mythology and conspiracy theories because they could never read an entire book if you look at these folks' faces and get some actual facts. Fox News watchers, Rush Limbaugh groupies, and so forth. These folks carrying weapons into a place of government should bring every American to their knees in prayer for this country. Oh, what have we done? Who have we become? When the president shills for this type of activity, you wonder what his real agenda is. And I'll tell you in the case of what Donald Trump is after. He is going to contest the election result in November if he loses. And he is going to encourage folks like this to make the kind of cataclysmic trouble that we've never seen in these United States before after an election result. His evangelical followers will say it's the will of God he remains president. These folks with guns who are in a governor's office now will show up in various places around federal buildings. We are going to have a repeat of the kind of terror and action we've seen from shooters and violence. And the president will be directly responsible for this, but he won't care because he's a man of blood and revenge. Look at the way he has picked on whistleblowers. Look at the way he has fired anyone, even health experts, that dare to question him. And to satisfy his ego in a Pyrrhic flame out after the election, he is going to look to these buffoons, these losers, making their presence felt. So why don't we just cut to the chase and invite them now to go to the White House fully armed and see what their reception will be from the Secret Service? Why don't we dare Trump to invite them to walk through the gates of the White House fully armed, to give him whatever list of demands they want, and see what the reaction is? Or why doesn't he just shut up? Since obviously he would be in terror and be shepherded into some safe room immediately, because there would be nothing standing between him and the very chaos and thuggery that he has helped unleash. Donald Trump is a coward, a bone-spurred draft dodger who talks big when guns are facing other people, but cowers behind the Secret Service himself, with the tens of millions of dollars in charges he's racked up for him and his family when they go on golfing expeditions and the rest of it at our expense. But when it comes to an elected representative is willing to unleash this type of chaos, that is the impeachable offense. That is the one where he should have been thrown out of office immediately by every Republican and Democrat who would say a president encouraged armed thuggery against an elected governor in any state is a person who is unfit to serve. Thank you. My name is Frank Schaeffer.